anything that I wanted, I had, thanks to my mom, even if it meant overnight delivery on Christmas Eve. We were an upper middle class family. I didn't really think about that at that time. Definitely Southern aristocrats with country clubs and big dinners with all the silverware properly laid out, and debutantes. I was not a debutante, thank goodness, but my cousin was. So that was the life that I had, a life of blissful ignorance up until I was 11, and then that's when it all changed. I remember that part pretty well. I was in the master bathroom that was adjacent to my parents' bedroom, getting ready to come out when I heard my parents enter the room. My dad was very lightheartedly telling my mother that he had a surprise for her. And you know, my dad was always giving her necklaces and bracelets and all this expensive stuff. So I'm sitting there going, oh great, you know, I'm going to witness this Saccardy Walton family moment where he gives her a necklace, and then I come bursting out of the bathroom all Pollyanna-ish, going, hey, you know, aren't we just wonderful? Well, he didn't have a necklace. And in fact, he had divorce papers. And my mother, very shocked, asked him if he was joking. And that's when he began physically abusing my mother. This went on for another 2 years until they finally did divorce. My brothers went with my father, and I went with my mother. My mother got the house, and it just made it much bigger, much quieter. I had signed away my rights to my father, and I was about 15 or so when my mother left to move in with her new boyfriend in Atlanta. So this left me pretty much, to me, all alone. And how I got through that is a bit blurry. I was severely depressed. I hardly got up off the sofa ever. I know that, I did stuff. I know I saw my friends. I know I went to school. I was homeschooled a lot at that time too, so there was that. And I know that my mother's family would bring over food on occasion, and my mom would show up every now and then with some groceries, although her visits got less and less over time. I was abandoned, but it gave me time to myself that apparently I needed. So even though I was depressed and it was terrible, I felt numb most of the time, and the other times I just felt sad. But it allowed me to focus my thoughts in a way that I hadn't been able to do before. It allowed me to confront that ignorance that I had had before, and to sit and listen to that still small voice inside. And I did a lot of thinking for the next 7 to 8 years. I thought about life. I thought about being gay. I thought about why people were so messed up. I thought about, am I going to turn into an abusive parent now? I thought about my spirituality a lot and the great mysteries of life, which I would have been shushed for thinking that stuff before. That's another thing about the small town that I'm from in the Bible Belt. You know, you just don't question things. You have a certain way that you have to act, certain things you have to say, you have to wear certain clothes, you have to act a certain way, and all this. You couldn't really question people's beliefs. They were supposed to be your beliefs. You just dealt with that. And it was restraining. And in that little cocoon of a world that I had in that house by myself, I was not restrained. So eventually, we lost the house, and I was homeless for a little while until I got into some government housing, and still depressed. I just stayed on the sofa there too. My mother finally returned when I was in college. I was 21 by this time, what society would consider an adult, even though by then I felt that I had already become one years and years ago, when I was able to confront that still, small voice. So, thanks, Mom and Dad, for ruining my life. Because I emerged